We're going to go live. We are live once again with Arshay Cooper. This is our third or fourth time you've been on Ready Row USA, I think.
Yeah, third time.
Third time, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were on with your A Most Beautiful Thing castmates. What do you call them? Crewmates?
Yeah, crewmates.
Crewmates, yeah. So welcome to the show. And I just wanted to catch up with you because you've been on several times, and you're one of the people I most admire in expanding the sport of rowing and bringing access to more people and making it healthier and more inclusive. And, you're just one of my, favorite people in rowing. So I'm glad you could
Oh,
join
thank
us
you.
today. Yeah. Um, so I know that when we met in 2019, which is just wild to think about, um, you were just starting the movie, which is called A Most Beautiful Thing. And you were there at CRI with Mary Mazio, the producer. And tell us a little bit how that got you from well, your site tells a lot about your background, your own website, but this is something that is near and dear to you now and is making a big difference in
Yeah,
rowing.
I mean, everyone's pretty much, all your listeners are pretty much familiar with the film and what the
Mhm.
film have done and still is doing. The film have has done so much work. I mean, just quickly, the amount of kids that I see at a regatta now that stops me and say, "Hey, black, white, Asian, no matter what, masters, juniors," that says, "Hey, I saw your film and I started rowing. And I've been rowing ever since." Like the film has been doing its work, and for those who have not rowed, somehow learn to deal with certain things or their trauma or introduce someone else or a school to rowing. So the film has done a lot of great things, and since then we decided to launch the Most Beautiful Thing Inclusion Fund. And what we do is we go into boathouses that's focused on breaking barriers in the sport, right? Swimming, transportation, lack of representation, boathouse culture, um, you know, many different things. And we go into cities and we kind of accelerate their rowing program. We go there and we help recruit young people. We build relationships with the community. We give teams these amazing, beautiful Hudson boats and concept two oars and ergs and just have a really good time with making sure
Mhm.
that every city knows about rowing and also every city boathouse in each city reflects the diversity that's in that city. And so we've been moving pretty fast. We go in, we show the movie, sometimes at the theater. Me and some of the guys of some Olympians would come in and speak at schools all week. Then we would end the week with a huge Learn to Row, and we would invite everyone in the city out, and we have a blast. And so that's kind of what we've been up to.
Mhm.
But not only doing it here in the States, we actually have been doing it now all over the world. So it's exciting.
And what countries? I mean, do you want to go into that now, or?
Yeah,
Um,
I can start there. I mean,
yeah, I watch your social media and stuff, and on your site, and I saw South Africa, and I thought this guy is just. How does he even have the
yeah.
energy to do this? But it was just inspiring, to see what you.
Yeah, it's I uh I got a tweet about 2 years ago from this woman who received the my book from someone in Germany. This
Well,
woman
this.
was a head of school in South Africa, met someone in Germany, gave her the book.
Yeah.
And and she read the book and she tweeted at me, "Hey Arshay, we just started a rowing program. We'll love your help." And I was just so busy. It was COVID. I had COVID, and I just kind of said, "God bless you," because I get these calls all the
Yeah.
time. And this is South Africa right here. And she messaged me again like a year later, like, "We need you." And then the second year, she said, "We just entered our first race, and so much more to do. Can you please come?" And I was like, "I'm coming." And so I called up Coach Kevin Harris, and
And he went with you?
he went with me. Yeah, he
Awesome.
went with
Yeah.
him. Yeah, he went
I
with
know him.
me. And we went to South Africa, and it was the most life changing experience. I mean, usually I go to the city and I'm empty. I'm emptying the tank. I
Mhm.
give everything that I have. But this is the place that gave to me more than I was able to give. It filled my cup. From the moment I land, everyone, I never even
Mm.
been, but we had people just saying, welcome home. And then,
Oh,
so me and Kevin walk, down the stairway we saw the young rowers and they were singing this most beautiful song in their African language. And
mm.
what the song said is, welcome home, my brother. Mother has been waiting for you, and
Oh,
we need your expertise. We need you now. And it was just so emotional and it's just so powerful. And I met the rowing captain. He reminded me so much of myself. He's 17 years old. And the first thing he said to me, he's like, "We haven't seen your film here, and we're excited to
what?
see it." He said, "We said we're excited to see it this week. Just one question: Will I cry?"
Yeah, you will. I mean, I cried, I'm just a white girl, But so it was this school here?
This is the school. This is the
Uh-huh.
school. And all these kids are from South Africa. Most of them live in townships, which is really kind of like the projects here in the States.
Sure.
And they grew up just like I did in a place where talent was everywhere, but access and opportunity was not. They seen a
Wow.
lot, maybe a lot more than what we had. But this is the rowing squad, and
Oh, you brought t-shirts.
yeah, and the rowing team is also the choir, which is awesome. So everywhere we went, they were singing beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful uh,
can
tunes.
I
It
come
was
with you next time?
yes, yes. It was
I just really want to do that.
gosh, it was. I mean, to be able to, and so part of the school has 50 kids that is boarding at that school, 50 to 60 kids. And
Hmm.
I was able to go to all the boys' room and sit there and hang out with them and talk with them. Um, I called up Concept 2, I called up Judy, and I was like, hey, this program has been around. These kids have been on the water. They go out on the water every week. They've been competing, but they only have two ergs. And these two ergs, the monitor doesn't work. They're Model C and so rusted out. And of course, Concept 2 was like a yes. And so we came and
Hmm.
we delivered ergs, and the kids was so excited and they was jumping around. And that was Kevin putting together the ergs with them. And
I was wondering if that was Kevin.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's amazing.
Yeah. And they was singing. I gotta sing you some video, but they were singing songs of joy. And we
Yeah.
right away we got on the rowing machines and we all started erging and rowing. We went out on the water, and then we had the film night. The film night is right in South Africa. People from everywhere. It was vibrant. It was dynamic.
Was the
Um,
film just kids from the townships, or was it
no,
like
no,
a
no, no.
mixed group of people?
The film was full
Hmm.
of the have and have nots. It
Wow.
was kids. It was rowers that were white from other places, from boarding
Hmm.
schools. There were folks who lived in downtown Cape Town. There was educators. There was folks from churches. Like we packed the place out, and I mean they were so excited. The Q&A was awesome. People were hyped. I mean,
Hmm.
there was no complaints. Like it was definitely the best trip I've been on. It was spiritual. It was holy. It was
Mm.
like the kids were crying all week. Like when I say every day, I was with these kids and we had conversations. We listened to music every day, rap music back home from some of
Hmm.
the best poets in music, and we broke those songs down and what that means and how it helps us as young people. It was good, and I think one of the things we wanted to do is solve the equity issue. So there's a lot of rowing programs here in the States. And, I think what we see is programs with kids of color who that may have the oldest boats, very few ergs, less days to practice, and maybe some of the most novice coaches, right? So how do we give them everything they need to compete with the private schools and everyone who has the Olympic coaches or the
Yeah,
best
because
boats and the best
there's a
ergs.
white tradition of rowing in South
Yeah,
Africa, right?
yeah. So very
Yeah,
white tradition.
yeah,
It looked like, they are where we were at Manley 20 years ago. That's
yeah,
exactly where they were at. And so to be able to go there and accelerate and bring a coach like Kevin to be able to bring new
yeah,
rowing machines, to be able to have a boat dedication for them, right, and bring more attention to the city. I mean, we were on so many TV shows, so many radio shows, like, and just to bring hope through the sport was awesome. And it was such a great time.
I'm so happy for you and them. And I know in the past we've talked about sustaining things like this, where you come in and you inspire and you get everybody fired up. And I know you have a plan for sustain. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? I mean,
Yeah, that's kind of what the foundation does now, right?
mhm,
Like for example, we're in Dallas next week and Oklahoma City the week after that. The plan is not only to get kids fired up and recruit kids to the
yeah,
sport, but also we're doing a huge fundraising push for each of these cities. We use the
mhm,
book, we use the film, we use the brand, we use the
mhm,
Olympians, we our board to bring out like NBA teams, right, or corporations, potential donors and funders to see what we can do through rowing. And I think a lot of what we talk about that is that rowing is not just the introduction to sports, it's an introduction to wellness, right? And there's a
yes,
lot
of
of
course,
kids, no matter where they're from, the color of their skin, that's battling some mental health issues in these days, right? And so to be able to go out there and meditate and download that serenity
mm,
and build a magical rhythm with others, right? And then talk about that and to be able to
mhm,
just cool down and stretch, right, and have mentors and coaches is a powerful thing. And so these are the next generation of leaders, right? So we're hoping that the older generation in each city will be able to invest in that. And why not try a sport that's all
mhm.
about team and discipline and commitment. um,
Because
and
that's what
so
life is.
and
That's what.
that's it,
Mhm.
yes, that's exactly what it is. And so part of that big event is part of the sustainability and
Yeah.
raising money for them. And then we give them a grant, we give them boats, we give them ergs, and then we have a biweekly call with these cities.
Mm,
And then we have training on board structure, youth development, um, uh, project management, so many other different things, DEI,
mhm.
to help these programs. And then we support them from that time on. And so we're really kind of see a lot of great things that's happening. And so one of the things that we do is pretty cool. I know you wanted to talk about this, Shar, um, is in all those programs that we visit, we take a kid or two from each of those programs and we bring them together every summer to Craftsbury. Uh,
Yes, I've been
Craftsbury,
following that as well. Yeah. Is this the second year that you've done it
the
or
third year. This is the
third
third
year?
year.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yep. It's such a magical place. All kids are in singles. But what's different about this camp is, you know, these are kids of color, right? Mostly kids of color, maybe
Mhm,
90% kids of color.
mhm,
And half of these kids are kids of color who are in programs, whereas all kids of color, and the other half are kids of color who are the only person of color in their program. But
mhm.
what was special about this year is that we brought kids from South Africa, from
Oh my.
UK, from the Bahamas, all over the states to come together and row. And every day um, in our time in Vermont, there's workshops
Yeah.
on boathouse culture, how to be a young leader, how to recruit as a young athlete, how to add to the sport. What are some of the things that we go through as
Mhm.
athletes? How can we help others? What's our place in the world? Right. So we are rowing 3 times a day, but we also in workshops 3 times a day. And these kids come here and they receive all this fire and they bring it back to their team and they become the next generation of leaders and most of the time they recommend someone else to come next year. And so yeah,
Yeah.
that camp is special. And I would say too, like going back to South Africa, right after South Africa, we was able to go to the Bahamas and do the exact same thing. And that was also a great time.
Is that the scullers? Did you connect with scullers down there?
That's not Skulls. It's Nassau rowing. So Skulls
Nassau rowing, yeah.
Yeah. It's the other island, but this is
I
how.
see.
Yeah. And it was. I had such a good time, and that was hosted actually by the U.S. Embassy. Yes,
you're traveling in high circles there, or they're traveling in high circles.
I mean, it was so cool, man. They like, they snatched me out of the line, and everyone was looking like, who is this guy?
Is he in trouble?
Yeah, no.
No, I mean that's great. That's great.
But yeah, it was. We've been seeing a lot of great stuff after the film, and we're not stopping there yet. We're partnering with Dallas United, Oklahoma City, this fall, and we're going to be helping them out and supporting them in many ways. And we still have, so now we're in 12 cities across the country, and I'm hoping to go back to South Africa and do another visit to the Bahamas, and hopefully expand to other places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe 20 years from now, AMBT will be in the four corners of the world. So
I have no doubt. See, I had the guys from the Waco, the new club. Weren't you down there?
Yeah. We definitely helped them.
Yeah, because they seem to be focusing on access and bringing in kids from the community.
Yeah, Waco's going to explode. They got a new coach, Marcus Brown, who came.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's the last thing I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, Marcus Brown is awesome. I was down there not too long ago meeting with the mayor and the city manager, and we talked about the vision of rowing for Waco, and one of the best body of waters I've ever seen. And
wow.
I think Matt and Marcus is going to do very well out there in Waco, and we're supporting them again this year. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were on when they just started, I think, or something. But
yeah. So, and we're gonna bring some of this energy to the head of the Charles too. We
are.
Yeah. We have a booth somewhere. We're gonna I don't know where we're gonna be yet, but we'll be there, and
well, let's book an interview there too. I'm going to be roaming around. I have my intern will be coming, by.
Oh yeah, come to where we at and hang out with us.
And last year I was with the Next Boatworks people. Do you know them?
No.
It's a coastal boat, so it's really kind of it's kind of like the ones they use in the Bahamas at Scullers. But
okay.
Yeah. So that'll be exciting. Yeah, that's the Charles River behind me.
I know. I see it. Yeah.
That's Pride Day 2019, I think.
Okay.
The Pride row, yeah.
Are you still rowing? How's that going?
I am, yeah. I'm rowing primarily single, but I get pulled into eights once in a while. When I got pulled into the veterans team, they needed a eighth person the other day, so I got to row with them.
That's cool.
The force was with me. Yeah. So what do you get to row at all, or do you?
I mean, you know what? Most of the rowing I have been doing it is when I visit a program and I go out there with the youth. I don't have much time on my own to do it, but mostly when I'm visiting a high school or juniors program, I'll get out there. But I was just in Port Townsend, Washington last week.
I have been there. My aunt used to live
there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was there for the Wooden Boat Festival.
Oh, my God. You're kidding me.
Yeah, I spoke there. They showed it. Yeah, I spoke there.
My cousin is totally into it. He's probably there. You probably saw my cousin.
And I was able to row in a quad with some of the folks there. It was pretty fun. Yeah. So I rode this past weekend. It was a great time.
So this is pretty much full time for you, besides being a double dad.
I'm a full-time dad. I'm full-time, and it's fun. I do a lot of speaking now, a lot of corporations, a lot of universities, a lot of sports teams, and I am writing again, which is awesome. Yes. So working on something for the future. But usually what keeps me busy is this. And and I spend a lot of time also just in conversations with young people about LA 2028. Will those boats reflect the diversity in our country?
Yeah.
Right. what would we do to not only just give people who can afford the sport or normally would have access to the sport an opportunity to get in a boat, but to follow through with them and give them the tools they need that, you know, to make it all the way to the national team and hopefully the Olympic team, right? Like we have learned in our country that, you know, all sports have made a significant impact in the world in some way, but none has entirely reached this goal without inclusion. When
Mm-hmm.
everyone's involved, it's faster, it's inspiring, it's dynamic, right? And it brings more people together, right?
Yeah.
We saw that with Coco in tennis, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Gosh, isn't she amazing?
yeah, I mean,
Have you met her? You must like.
I have not met her, but I am a
God, I want.
fan.
She's my spirit animal, man. She is best.
Yeah, and I went to a school and all these beautiful brown kids. And I said, what do you want to do what do you want to be a girl? This was 3 days ago. And they were like, Coco, like Coco, like Coco. They didn't know Coco a year ago, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that Coco has always played tennis. But when she got the best coaching, my parents talked about this. When she got the best
Mhm.
coaching, she and got on this platform, and other kids that looked like her saw her, right? And
Yeah.
so when we can help kids through college and give them the training that they deserve because they have the talent, and we see them on the Olympic level, it attracts more
Mhm.
kids from everywhere, right? And so that's what we hope to do. And this year we sent a lot of collegiate athletes. We was able to sponsor a lot of collegiate athletes to go to high performance camps,
Mhm.
right? And so that's a big thing that we're starting to focus on at the same time.
Yeah, and I was down at the U.S. Rowing Convention, and I met this guy, Jalen Baldwin from the Foundry in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know him.
He's like 20, and he is a leader.
Mhm.
You should definitely reach out to them because he's black, and
Yep.
but he's bringing. He just like loves rowing, and he's bringing all these kids, and he's being an example as a young person and as a black kid to that community. So it was really inspiring.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. He reached out to me right before that convention.
oh, did
He
you?
was- yeah. He was like, "Are you going?" I was like, "I'm not able to make it, but
How
But you
about
can.
this one? Because I'm a media partner of them now, so for the conventions, and I don't know where they're going to be this time. Do you have much interaction with U.S. Rowing? It's still.
I mean, I talk with him, not as much. I'm
Mhm.
so busy, but I see them at
Yeah,
different things. I don't know
yeah,
where. I have no idea where it's gonna be.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was in Atlantic City, not my favorite place. I shouldn't say that. Atlantic City is great. But okay, what else should we cover while we're here and catching up?
No, I mean, I think hope again, we are I'll send you some stuff. We're trying to plan like a full
Mhm.
weekend at the Charles, so I know everyone's getting ready for that. Everyone I talked to said they're coming, so I think
Good.
people were still a little nervous last year in the last couple of years with
Mhm.
COVID and stuff, but I feel like this year is going to be uh very vibrant, and one of the things that um I may do is kind of tour a few public schools that week uh, and talk to kids
Mm.
about, some of those schools have read my book.
Yeah,
So we're hoping to connect with some schools and get some kids out to see some of the races at the Charles and
right.
hang out with us, which is pretty cool and pretty exciting.
It's a
Um,
great place to hang out. I hope the weather's good because people
oh
just
yeah,
people just love it. And so what's the best way for people to connect with you? Is that through the Most Beautiful Thing Inclusion Fund or through your
yeah, through my website, through the Most Beautiful Thing Inclusion Fund, they can connect with us
there,
that way. And yeah, it's right
there's
there. There you go. You can find me that way. You can email me. We can
recognize
get
you
together
anywhere.
and hang out and
Yeah, and there's the movie and there's the A Most Beautiful Thing Inclusion Fund. Yeah. So, well, I'm thrilled that we could connect, and I think for me as a masters rower, I just see what you're doing and how you're expanding the sport, and it makes me, it inspires me. It makes me motivated to continue rowing and, do what I can to make it more accessible to everyone. That's kind of my theme this year with Ready Row USA. So I really appreciate your.
Well, I appreciate you. You're still doing it. You didn't,
It's 5 years, man.
Yeah, 5 years. I'm sure you caught a couple crabs, but you
I have caught a couple crabs. Yeah, yeah. It's like, and I named my boat, my single. I got a Sykes, and I named it "She Persisted." So that's the name of my boat. It's kind of like the story of my life, And with the final parting just message, we really appreciate our sponsors and supporters, Arlington Community Media, acmi.tv. Check them out. They're awesome. All community media stations need your support, and they're great places to get tutoring and do productions, video productions and audio productions.
Okay.
Pierce Press is my publishing company. Laura Williams Pages, she rescues me. She saves my, whatever you call it, on a regular basis. She does website design and management. And Burnham Boat Slings, you know them. I love them. They supported us for a long time. Of course, Community Rowing. I have spent a lot of time there, and my lovely intern Olivia Doe. She couldn't be here today, but she will be next time. And
okay, I'll see her in Boston soon.
Yes, you will. Yeah, she's a Syracuse student, so she's. Okay. But let's keep in touch and send me episode ideas. I'd love to. I have a never-ending need for them.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. People to interview and stuff. Good.
All right. We'll chat soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Arshay.
Well, I have to say this, though, Charlotte.
Yeah. Yes.
One good idea, you think about, Anita, who wrote My Olympic Life, they're getting like 5 people who wrote rowing books and talk about the process of writing. Like everyone has a rowing story, right? Well, what about like some of the authors in rowing, the writers in rowing? I think one day it'd be good to get a group of them on a panel and, and talk about that stuff. Because they're all so different, right? They're all rowing books, but they're also very different.
Yeah, so Dan Boyne is an author.
Yeah.
You, Anita. Yeah, let's do that. I love that idea.
There's a few out there. Okay. All right. We'll try.
All right, sir. You're the best. Right. Thank you so much. Okay, take care. Bye.